Oh boy. Good, Alien. Bias, what's up, brother? Good morning, Ash. What's up, LeBron? B&D, what's up, brother? TB5, what's up, bro? Bias, don't worry, we'll cover the weekly outlook. We'll cover daily bias for today, or the game plan for today. What do you mean by day 29 out of 100? After 100, or maybe earlier, we're gonna move to Discord streams. This is Nasdaq chart, 15 minute time frame. What's up, Max? Yes, sir. I actually have like two more Barbarian King levels than I'm max. Good toffee. It's good, Raj. Though this ain't the best week to get back into. Like I said, I'm back into trading. Yeah, you probably chose one of the harder weeks, but I mean, yo, why we're on prop firms. No news Monday, so no trade for me. But good luck. Appreciate you, bro. I'm currently in NQ waiting for a breakthrough to the downside. Similar. You think we'll sweep liquidity to the downside? I think Friday's low is definitely a good objective. Yo, you to send me $1,000 for the Hamzat game? Yo, that was a crazy fight. Did you watch the fight live, Toppy? Mm, it's good sour full port Monday. I never full port. Never full port. I was talking to Addy Toffee and we were literally saying like you could have put anyone like in that time, you could have put anyone in front of Hamza, bro, and he probably would have done the exact same thing, bro. Like I don't think anyone could have stopped that, bro. What's up, Gooby? Are you also looking for a short? We'll cover the game plan in 7 minutes. Gold. Yeah, that was an embarrassing fight. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think anyone could have stopped that. Yes, gold longs is possible. Gold longs is possible. The order flow is pretty bearish on the higher time frame. Higher time frame order flow is still pretty bearish. I see the 4 hour, but this is what I see more than the 4 hour. I probably wouldn't look for longs personally. This is what I see more than the 4 hour. Then the thing is, where do we go? Monthly low. Man, damn, what are those wicks, bro? Not a bad idea. Me personally, I think gold stays range bound. Yo, look at this consolidation on gold, bro. That's been tough. Anyways, game plan. We'll cover the game plan in 5 minutes. That little $120. When is $120 in like 15 minutes a bad thing, bro? I was just finishing my sandwich. It's basically done now. What are your thoughts on SPY? I think it's a great, great asset. Very kind. Well, we'll cover the game plan. Game plan in 4 minutes. I guess we can start now. I'm good, Raj. Appreciate you, man. Maybe like checking out the. Okay, let's talk about the game plan. Okay, We have a lot to discuss, so you know what? Let's discuss early. I'm gonna go ahead and assume you guys have seen the economic outlook post. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you guys saw that. So I don't have to cover what I'm expecting this week based on the economic calendar. Okay. Now, given the economic calendar, it's gonna be a tough week. It's gonna be. I remember this same week last year, and it was tough. But we've improved since then. So, what's the game plan for the week? For the week, and then I'll give chart colors. Yes. For the week, it's a tough situation, and I'll explain why. NASDAQ inverted this fair value gap, while the S&P 500 closed above. However, we have an SMT at the all-time high. So obviously NASDAQ's weak and ES is strong. To me, this looks like we're going to pivot lower. We're going to pivot lower because NASDAQ inverted, the SMT's there, and although ES didn't invert, it did take out all-time high and close lower. So like this. So I do think ES will eventually invert this fair value gap. So what can we potentially, this is like the weekly outlook. So personally, I'm leaning towards lower on the weekly outlook. I think previous week's low is a good objective. That's pretty low-hanging fruit. Even if we're wrong about a full shift, previous week's low is right there. And that's always a good draw on liquidity. You know, I'm not going to be mad for having previous week's low as a draw and then it like not going to previous week's low. So for the week, going into the week, I'm going to be expecting previous week's low as a main objective for the week. And that's for the week. Now, intraday is also a little bit tough. But it's also kind of not. We're just going to wait for a high probability short. Friday's low is right there. And because I'm bearish on the week, even though there's an SMT on Friday's low, I still want to see it get taken. So I'm going to look for a high probability short going into 9:30 open. Now, let's say hypothetically 9:30, does something like this. Okay? At that point in time, I'd probably expect the draw to be midnight open or Asian high. So, aka I'm saying we're going to look for high probability shorts until order flow is just clear as day obvious. And if it's just clear as day obvious, well then we know where it's going. Like if it's going to go up, we know it's going to reach for midnight and probably Asia high. As of right now, I don't think it's going to go up there. I think we're going to respect this London range. And we're going to continue lower to Friday's low, maybe even lower. Now, let's talk about a little bit of the economic calendar. It is Jackson Hole Symposium week. We're going to be extra patient this week. Like if it's not an A+ setup, and when I say A+ setup, I mean like the way it actually forms, like the pattern itself, not the idea, not the narrative. Because shorts from London range to Friday's low is a high probability trade idea, in my opinion, right? But if it doesn't actually form clean, like if it doesn't actually open, sweep, clean candles with a fair value gap, if I don't see those clean signatures, I'm not going to execute because I'm expecting, honestly, probably this entire week, maybe minus FOMC minutes afternoon and maybe minus Friday after Fed Chair speaks, and you can argue Thursday, it's going to be high resistance, probably besides those days. So unless we see it visually, the pattern is actually forming clean, and it looks like it's forming with low resistance conditions, we won't execute. Or unless it's on an eval, which I'll clarify. If it's an eval, yeah, I don't really care. we'll just take the trade, A plus setup or not. Anyways, that's the game plan. Hopefully that made sense. Someone said they want to see my chart colors. As of right now, this is definitely subject to change, but I'm running C4, C4, C4. I know, very stereotypical. That's my background. The canvas, the symbols, everything is black except the up close candles, which is 1EA260. I like this little off turquoise color right now. This is subject to change, but it's going to be something like this for a while. It's going to be, so I think it's clean. It's nice on the eyes. The session indicator is called ICT kill zones and pivots TFO. These are my settings. 5 session drawing limit. I only draw Asia and London. You can draw the other ones if you want. Show pivot labels. Stop points mitigated on the right side. These are the labels. I don't use them. You can use them if you want. I always keep the separators on. Day of week labels enabled. Bottom and midnight. Midnight open. New York kill zone open. That's 8. That's midnight and 8:30 open. And that's it. You can add any opening price you want. If I really want to get into it, I would add 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30, but I'll just keep it visually in my mind. You say the buys again. We're going to look for higher probability shorts unless order flow just screams bullish. And I'm expecting Friday's low going into market open. And if we just, for some reason, have the most insane bullish order flow, and it's very obvious that it's going to go higher, so say we get at that point, midnight open, Asia high. That's it. I'm going to play inside the daily range. Obviously, Friday is not inside the daily range, but it's right there to the daily low, so I think it can be reached. I'll have my fundeds open, but like I said, if it doesn't actually form, and when I say the setup itself, if it doesn't form A+, I won't execute my fundeds. So I'll let you guys know if I'm going to execute my funded or my eval. Or my evals. I got some evals for the week. And I'll let you guys know if it's an eval trade or a funded trade. Every trade is still going to follow the logic. Every single trade is going to follow the model. The only difference is and yeah, that's the game plan. That is the game plan. You're actually only going to trade it on your live account? Bro. That's gotta be trolling. Should I short ES if I see manipulation to the highs? I think that's not a bad idea. Why does my canvas look different here even though we have the same? Not sure, brother. What looks different? C4, C4, C4. You exited the worst. You excited for the worst week of the year? Could be the worst week of the year. There's some weeks in December, like before the holidays or the holiday week itself. It's also pretty awful, man. So you'd even if the S&P hasn't been disrespected yet? Bro, the S&P getting disrespected, that would be my TP for shorts. The hex code for my green candles are 1EA260. And stuff. Is there any big news this week, or why should it be the worst? Because it's Jackson Hole Symposium week. On top of that, it's also August. Imagine which month has been the best price action in your opinion this year so far. The best month of price action, I think was one that I didn't even capitalize on. It was like May, I think. Was it May? It was April or May. No, April we got payouts. It's probably May. I think April was really, really good price action. I think probably April. But then again, like my best month this year was July. And I know a lot of people did not like last month, although I got multiple payouts. It just kind of is what it is, bro. You manage your risk, you win a couple, you get paid. That's it. All right, opening range gap. This is the opening price at 9:30. Annotate it. That's your opening range gap low. This is the closing price on Friday, regular trading hours. Opening range gap high. Annotate it. If you want to get fancy, mark out the quadrants. Not like that. Like this. You can see 25, 50, and 75. Or you can just mark out 50%. I'll probably just mark out 50%. When it's not that big, you can just, 25 is right here and 75 is right there, right? You gotta use your brain a little bit. So immediately off open, we fill up the opening range gap. New week opening gap, reprice to. S&P, a little bit behind. Just gonna let the opening range do its thing for now. Just wait. Everyone keeps asking me my bias. The game plan is look for high probability shorts. That's the game plan. If order flow prints really obviously bullish, I will start looking for what's it called? Long to midnight open. All right, let's focus up here. Do you need? No, you don't need TradingView Premium. You just need to go. Well, you can do it. The easiest way to do it: right-click your chart, go to Settings, and then you see right here it says Electronic Trading Hours. Just switch that over to regular. Then you'll see. Mark out the closing price on Friday, the opening price the next day. Obviously, this is your new week one, so it's Friday, Monday. Closing price, opening price. Then you get the gap. It doesn't look like a gap because it filled up right away. But remember, we stopped here, we started here. So that's a gap. If you go to the, like for example, the 1 second chart, you'll see it right away. I would not use that as a first presentation. I'm not going to de-risk because, I mean, I'm already pretty de-risked on my funded. I risk 0.25%. I don't think you'll meet anyone who risks less than 0.25%. I'm not going to risk less than 0.25%. But if the trade's not good, I'll simply execute on eval only. I don't trust this fair value gap, and I'll tell you why. Look at the S&P 500. This shit is not going anywhere right now. It might, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that this is going anywhere. One, Raj, is because there's nothing on ES. Two, technically it's not an RTH. If you want to use ICT's new criteria, yes, it is a single pass higher, but that candle didn't open above the buy side. It has to open above. I mean, it opened below, which I guess counts because we opened inside a liquidity pool. So you could use it as first presentation. I'm just personal. I'm not going to use it. And keep it very clean. Like, you could use it. Does it matter, really, even? Does first presentation really matter? Who knows? Does it really hold any other significance over just the next fair value gap? I don't know. We'll annotate it and use it as an imbalance because that's what it is. And that's all we need to know. Is that it's an imbalance. I would say what matters is your own conviction in it. That's what matters. Opening range gap high has been traded to. We're starting to see pretty bullish order flow. I wouldn't say enough for me to switch my buys to look for midnight in Asia, but it's possible. It's possible. If we're looking at levels we could potentially reject from, the hourly SIBI right here. And I'm just not comfortable longing, and I'm longing inside this hourly. Some people might be. I'm not. Not on a day like this. If the bias was clear, I would be longing, but it's not. So I'd rather just sit here and wait for it to show me it's bearish than to just try to long inside of a 1 hour fair value gap. Sell side imbalance. So we shall wait. I prefer using this as first presentation, although I'm not going to annotate it as first presentation. We'll just, do I want to? Nah. I don't need to. If we invert this, I'd probably short. Because then it'd be closing below new week opening gap, opening range gap 75%, hourly bearish, buy side taking pre-market, equal lows left behind. It's a good trade. Someone asking, how do I calculate risk so quickly? I'll show you. Before the setup even forms, I'm going to measure if I were to take this inversion, where my stop loss would be. And it would look to be about something around 23 points. So I know mentally my stop's going to be around 20 to like 30 points. So what does that mean, 20 to 30 points? Am I signed into? I got to make... Okay, we're going to have to do a switcheroo real quick. Let me do this switcheroo real quick. Don't worry, we're not missing anything. But yeah, that... Whoa. That's how I measure it. So if I know it's going to be around 25 points, what can I do to take advantage of that? I know it's going to be around 50 points a micro at the stop level. So if it's 50 points a micro, right? If it's 50 points a micro, then I know I'm going to risk around, say 5 contracts for $250. If it closes really bad, still around, yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I suppose we could mark out. Yeah, if this inverses, I mean, I'm gonna short it. I'm not even gonna hesitate that. I'll try that classic model short, target the pre-market equal lows right here. So far, nothing though. And I would short it with a stop, around that 22. Yeah, they're on 25 points, so 5 micros. What account are we working on? I think it's this one. Yeah, well, we'll see. If it doesn't form right now, probably would just scrap. Remember, I said I want the actual setup itself to be A+. So yeah, we're trading that new week opening gap. Yeah, I want to see that get inversed. I want to see 75% of the opening range gap, which I'll show you guys right now, right there. Yeah, we close below. Yep. If we get this inversion. All right, I'm going to sell inside that inversion. I'm watching this candle print. All right, I'm going to sell inside that inversion. Put the stop at the high. And we'll see if we can get a run. Friday's low would be a best case scenario. This candle starting to rip right off the open. But that's okay. It looks like we may get stopped out right away. Wow. There's the high resistance conditions. I mean, we inverted. I mean, the stops, let's put the stop at the high. Because it just may be a really strong ass retracement. But yeah, definitely not the best reaction as soon as we inverse that fair value gap. Maybe trade into something. Not really. So we'll just see. I mean, we just reinversed. You could terminate the trade, but this could just be a high resistance signature. You're gonna get sloppy retracements, so I wouldn't say the trade's actually killed just yet. We'll see though. Could have been a little bit more patient, like waited for this to start trading down. But we got a pretty decent fill at the inversion, so I could even put the stop, there. The stop's only 21 points, right? I calculated the stop based on 25 points, so we're still under risk by putting the stop all the way up there because we got a better fill. So this is starting to look pretty high resistance in nature. Part of me just wants to close it break even right now because I know it's going to be high resistance. But it's a pretty strong narrative that I think I'm willing to risk 200 bucks behind. This is a 50K apex. So yeah. Trading back to opening range gap high. Pretty high resistance signature, but we'll see if we can stay below. See if that high inside the 1 hour bearish is protected or not. That's the idea of this trade, right? We only came up here to trade into the hourly SIBI. And we're expecting, just to it continue lower. There's no reason to go higher if we're bearish, and that's what I'm betting on right now, if you want to call it betting. A lot of displacement lower right now. I'll mark out this imbalance. Obviously, want to see that be used as an objective to the downside. I don't want to give back profits. It's gonna be high resistance. You can already see sloppy. Now look at this. Displacement down, deep retracement already. So I kind of want to be diligent with the partials. See if we can get through this imbalance. We're starting to see some speed. 930 open is opening range gap low. I'll set an alert here on ES so I don't forget. Dude, I don't even want to touch the stop. I mean, we can bring it to 813.75 right there, order block. But that's it, really. I don't want to touch it any more than it's sloppy. I might get a deep retracement. Sure, you can break even this, but I'm willing to risk. So if you're uncomfortable holding, I know some people are copying me. I'm going to be straight up with you. If you're uncomfortable holding this, put your stop at break even or take a partial. Some people were already probably panicking when it was already here. But like I said, I was already expecting it to be high resistance. There's no need to panic when you enter a short and it starts retracing deep against you. Obviously, it's not what you want to see, but it's no news Monday and it's high resistance. So we got up below 50% of this imbalance. Whether it's first presentation or not, doesn't really matter. That's not what I'm trying to do. So you can already see how, like, when I start saying high resistance, what I mean. I mean, we came all the way down, 50% close below. At this point in time, we should be seeing speed towards the sell side. Instead, this candle opened up and started to, only trade higher. Getting a lot of wicking. All the way up, wick. All the way up, wick. 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 It's uncomfortable to hold those kind of trades, right? It's uncomfortable. Why is it uncomfortable? Because the candle looks like it's going to come all the way back up, right? But you just zoom out for a sec. Let me zoom out, paint a better picture. Is it still looking kind of uncomfortable? Not really. It's probably looking pretty solid here. You could drop the stop to 809. I'm just looking for my first partial. Again, the candle opens up, only trades higher when it should be speeding down lower. It's just a part of the high resistance nature of this market. We can reduce our risk by bringing our stop to 809. So right above opening range gap high and 5-minute inversion, the 5-minute inverse candle. So right there. Now we're risking very little on this trade. Now we're only risking 13, 26, whatever. We're risking half. We're risking 125. Pretty good risk. Pretty good risk, if you ask me. Strong candle coming up. Respects that fair value gap down there. ES about to take the short-term high. Again, this is all expected. High resistance stuff. We're just going to let it do its thing. You know, it could even come back all the way up, stop us, and then go back lower. It is what it is. It didn't really give me anything to take a partial. I wanted to take partials maybe here. Maybe here. So maybe we're asking for too much on this trade, but that's why I risk little. We're only risking 125 now. So now it's easy to hold this trade. Knowing that I cut my risk by half, it's easy to hold it now. You know, the stress is gone. That's the important part of reducing your risk. Originally, when the stop was at full and it started trading against me, it's a little bit more uncomfortable as opposed to now when it's trading against me when my stop is half what it used to be. But then I know all I need is, I don't even need 2R. I just need 1R. Low, I need less, half R, sorry. And obviously this trade could still play out. I mean, it's just retracing right now. Obviously, could continue lower or could respect Fibonacci, and then we'll see. There's a small imbalance in there. We do have the S&T at the highs. I'm gonna remove the 50% level. I don't think we need that. I see the SMT there. I mean, I like it. It could potentially speed up right now. Like, it could just start really speeding up higher. So NQ tries to catch up. And that's fine. Then we'll get stopped out. Yeah, it looks like that speed up is happening right now, like we anticipated. Just gonna watch and see what it does. Let's check the YM. Is YM bullish? YM also seems to be bullish, so Nasdaq could definitely start, you know, trading higher. And this was just fake. This was just a fake run. I mean, we never traded to 930 low, which is kind of like rare, but it is what it is. Where's my trade? But it is what it is, you know. 930 pretty much opened up, one tick down, starts trading higher. It's typical that we get the reversal to at least 930 opening price. To be honest, the way that this is looking right now, it looks like we may not even ever trade back to 930. At least not until like lunch. Again, giving me another opportunity to close break even, but like I said, I've already accepted the risk, so just gonna let it do its thing. Definitely high resistance. Watching the 5-minute close here. Yeah, pretty close, I would say. Pretty close. Just letting it do its thing. It's really sloppy. Obviously, we can all agree. I'll probably want to take my first partial here at opening range gap low if I can get it. Just to take some risk off, make it easier to hold this trade if we can get there. We got pretty close last time. If this starts to wick, I'd be quite tempted to close break even because S&P is trading into a bullish fair value gap. If it starts to displace higher, to me, it's probably going to take out this high then. Right now, it's obviously just going lower, so. Yeah, this is tough. Yeah, I mean, if you're not used to this, if you're not already expecting this, if you haven't lost before in these conditions, multiple times, it's probably not the comfiest feeling for you. I'm gonna take my first partial there at the opening range gap low. I'm gonna bring the stop to 805, 804.75, and I'm gonna leave the runner. Right now, it's ripping through. Yeah, got the TP there on the funded accounts on Alpha, so that 2R was secured. This is Apex, how I would mimic live trading. At this point in time, I'm gonna bring my stop to 791, just above break even. Not a logical stop. Besides, I don't want to risk a single dollar on this trade anymore. In fact, 789 looks pretty good because this is probably going to be a liquidity void. And you know what? This is pretty strong. I'm going to make this a 1 limit, and I'm going to leave a runner. I don't know for what. Maybe just forever. Maybe the whole session. Time-based runner. Just because of how strong that was. Like, if this stays a breakaway, this could stay a breakaway. Bring the stop to the high there, 791. Realistically, even above 50% should be fine. But yeah, expecting this to be a breakaway. So, anyway, on my alpha account, I secured the full TP there. So if this is a breakaway, we shouldn't even trade to 50%, let alone the high of it. So we can just put the stop, resting at 789. See if we can get Friday's low. Obviously, we took out the sell stops there. Pretty good partial level. Seeing a retracement now. This could form a protraction model. If we get something like this. The key in trading this, you need to understand what happens in high resistance conditions. The old me would be getting stopped out here, right here. I'd be closing the trade. Or the old me would get stopped out break even here. But you have to trust your narrative. And the narrative is what I said it was. High probability shorts to the objective Friday's low. The idea was simple. We only came up here at 9:35. We only came up here to trade into the hourly imbalance. So if we are bearish and we break down here, we should not be going above this high. It can get super sloppy, but there is no reason to even waste any time to push price above this high. Because above this high, at that point, it's not even going to be bearish, right? That was the narrative of this trade. So how can I trust the stop? Well, it's simple. If my narrative is right, there's no need to go higher than 817.7 or 818.25. But I already know it's going to be high resistance. That's what I said when you guys asked me what's the pre-market outlook. I already knew it was going to be high resistance. When this candle opened and started trading against us, I said, okay, it's going to be high resistance. I have to put my stop here. That's what I did. The reason I know this is because I've traded high resistance before, and every time I get chopped out, but it still plays out. Chopped out but played out, you know? I didn't want to be chopped out but played out. I want it to be either wrong, not right or wrong, but I want it to be stopped out because I had the wrong idea, or I wanted to or just have it play out. So, I had to adjust. And like I said, we were only risking 21 points on that. So, 21 points, we'll take it. This could be a bearish order block if we can close below. We did take sell stops there. We do have an SMT down here. So this could be the end of the move. That's why my stop's in profit. 'I live in Canada. Someone's asking me what state I'm in. I'm not in the US. I'm so cheese. Why are you cheese? This eval, this is my funded. I also executed on my alpha, guys. I fully closed the position at 2R. That's all I need on alpha to get payouts. Just 2R. Don't need more. So on alpha, we full close 2R. This is Apex funded. Still running with 2 contracts. This is not eval. If it's eval, I'll put an annotation that says this is an eval trade, so you guys know. Not that I don't take eval serious, but how much you make in 3 macros, I don't know, and I don't want to know. But if you want to add up all the fundeds I traded today and how much we made, just an eval trade, no funded. Same in Canada. What broker do you use? Well, this is Profirm trade, but I use interactive brokers. I traded Asia, got minus 400. Then I was in these shorts and it hit my daily last time before SL. I'd be up 1500. I would be frustrated too, bro. But that's a mistake. You gotta own up to that mistake. How much did you make? I just make 1019. Well, across the alpha fundeds, we make quite a bit, man. We make quite a bit. Is alpha features good to start off with? I think it's probably the best prop firm to start off with if you want to get your first payout and then use that to get more. I know all the people that copied you did not hold the trade. I know that probably too. Is Interactive Broker a prop firm? No, that's a live broker. I think he was asking about a live broker. You went break even? It was sloppy, yeah. Same. I mean, yo, guys, that's why we went break. That's why you guys went break even, Everyone, I'm not saying you guys, but I know some of you guys go break even, get break evened, and then be like, oh, what the fuck? What? You went break even. Did you not expect to get hit break even? I'm gonna partial this. This is my edge, so I'm gonna partial it there. No, to remove the limit. Oh my god, I almost screwed myself there with the last runner. I saw that wick. I wanted to get the fill ASAP. I saw the ding go off on ES, so I took the partial there, 1 tick. This is what I talked about. Like, you already knew this, Insta. It'd be edging the levels like this. Like, I'm not taking my chances. I told you guys that Jackson Hole Symposium week, it'd just be edging the levels. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to happen here. But Jackson Hole Symposium week, for some reason, the levels that I mark out, it'd just be edging, bro. It'd just be edging. No more limit orders. Guys, no limit orders this week. Take my word for it. That's all I'm going to say. Take my word for it. No more limit orders this week. Just market sell and buy as it starts going down or up. I'm telling you, it be doing this stuff. It be doing this stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm bearish still, but I would not be surprised if it just started to pump. And I genuinely feel like the only reason, I don't even know what it is. I can't even tell you. But it does, I swear to you, it does stuff like this all the time in Jackson Hole Symposium week. I say that with only 4 years of an experience, but ICT also said the same thing, so you can take his word, not mine. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I was not about to get greedy for 0.25. That's for sure. That is a continuation, Obi. I'm thinking about putting my stop at 765, but I'm gonna watch how this trades first. Oh, I knew it. I knew it, bro. I knew it was gonna edge. If you had a limit order here, like, I'm sorry, bro. I'll be honest. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to tell you, bro. I don't even know what to tell you, man. Because they be doing this stuff. It's gonna be doing this stuff all session, bro. All session, all week. It's gonna get you uncomfortable. It's gonna get you. It'll get there, but it's gonna make you uncomfortable. So, great week to de-risk. A lot of people don't realize you can de-risk because of the conditions are like, yeah, you're more likely to lose, so you de-risk slightly. But not just that. You can just de-risk because discomfort, bro. You do not want to be trading uncomfortable. Like, if you got uncomfortable here, it's because it's sloppy, but it's also probably because you're risking too much. You know? Probably risking too much. What week Jackson asked Crimson? No, Jackson Hole Symposium. I have 5,000 funded. I risk 1%. 1% is pretty good. What, you have 10% of drawdown? How much drawdown do you have? By the way, guys, I'm thinking about stop at 769. Covers that OB. But like I said, I'm going to watch it print before I put the stop there. What's the easiest way to measure ticks? Click shift and then drag. Shift. Like hold shift, click on your screen, and then drag from. Which year did you turn profitable? It's really hard to say. I feel like I had the skills as soon as I started trading. When did I start seeing more results? To be honest, I don't know. I feel like I was pretty good from the beginning. Obviously, I wasn't just like. The thing is, like, I don't know. I guess it depends on your opinion. It depends on how you view it. In my opinion, if you ask me, I was pretty much good from the start. I mean, obviously, man, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. There was no like, I'm profitable now. You know, like I always had winning months. I always had break even months. I had a couple of losing months, but the winning months always outdid it. I don't get payouts every month. I also don't buy evals every month, so my expenses on trading is low. I've gotten way more in payouts than I've spent on evals. I've made money from my stock account for 2 years consistently. Um, so I don't know. Some people would say that's still not profitable, but again, I don't really care. I'm just here to trade and get better. What's the best risk amount to pass a 10K account? You gotta tell me in percentages. How much money do you have to work with? Interactive broker, don't you need 20K margin to trade one ES contract? Yes. If you want to trade the mini. I don't trade minis, obviously. First time I held under such conditions, I'm learning. Nice. Nice. I mean, if you were able to weather the storm, your mental probably leveled up slightly. And I might actually bring the stop here to 791. The top of the break. It's obviously not a breakaway gap anymore, but you see how it edged? Bro, I'm so happy it edged here. Because I've been trying to say to you guys, Jackson Hole Symposium Week is the edging final boss, bro. I know it sounds like I'm trolling, but I promise you I'm not. I'm actually not trolling. It does this shit, bro. It does. It doobity. This is support and resistance galore. And we probably get the final micro stopped here. August is tough. No, August is a tough month. Which prop firm you recommend for the quickest payout? Alpha futures, not the quickest, but the easiest. Like you have to do the least amount of progress to get a payout on alpha. You could long. If you wanted to long, you could long. I mean, the CISD is here. You could long if you wanted to. It's probably going to be range bound. So what are you going to aim for? Hard to say. Fivers, I've never used them, but I know people who have. Probably good firm. Just passed my FTMO eval last Friday. Nice, bro. Explain how it's the easiest. All you need is 3 winning days that are 40% consistent, and you can request a payout. For example, I say this almost every stream at this point, but I'll say it again. Let's say you just got funded with an Alpha Futures account. You risk 100, you make 200. Stop trading. Next day, you risk 100, you make 150. Stop trading. Next day, you risk 100, you make 150. Okay, you're eligible for payout now. You can request all that money. That's the only futures firm you can do that with. No buffer needed. No minimum days. The only rule is 40% consistency. So as long as you keep your wins between 1.5 and say between 1R and 3R, you can probably request a payout in 3 wins. No buffer. You don't have to worry about the maximum loss limit sliding up to 0. Simple. You pay activation fee in Alpha Futures. Depends which account you get. If you get the 0 account, by the way, right now they have 25% off. So if you were ever thinking about it, I would do that. Does max loss never go to 0? It goes to 0 once you make the buffer. So once you make 2,000, then it'll get set to 0 for life. It'll just sit there forever. Anyways, what I was gonna say was, yes, there's 25% off. Is there an activation fee? Depends which account. If you were to get the account that says like the 0 account, that means 0 activation fee. The rules are slightly different, but that's probably the best beginner account you can ever get, because for $60 or like, what is it, 70? I don't know how much it is. It's like $60, I think, or $70. You can like make a really good return on your investment. Even if you got like a $700 payout, which is not that much. For some people, that's a lot, but in hindsight of what you're risking per trade, $700 payout is not that much. But that's 10 times your investment. That's a wonderful, you know? If you can replicate that's a wonderful. So if you want to just like put a little bit of money in and get the most money out, return on investment, 0 funded is probably the best. It's also really cheap. So it's better for beginners. You know, that's what I would recommend for someone right away. Now, if you've gotten payouts before and you want to take it the next level, I would do the standard account. The standard account max payout is $15,000. So you get that funded, you pay yourself whenever you're eligible, but you can keep trading it and just over time slowly build the account as you're getting buffers and stuff. Keep going with the account, and eventually it might run up, right? It might run up. Do you know the uProfit 0 accounts? They don't have active. I'm not sure what uProfit is. Funded Next. I've never used them, but I know people who have. I think they're great. Yeah, they're probably great. I've never used them though. I'm already in shorts. We've taken 80% of the position off. What buffers are built alpha since they don't have one? You don't need one, bro. Honestly, Pat, I would just trade, and as soon as you're eligible for payout, just take it, bro. Forget about buffer. Forget about making this much money. Just pay yourself, bro. Just get that payout if it's your first one or first couple, and then go from there. Why not FTMO? I mean, we're talking about futures prop firms here. Does Apex need a buffer? Yep, Apex needs a buffer. Did it one tick our stop loss there? Yes, sir. One tick on the stop loss. Feels good. High of the imbalance not traded to. This would be a great clip. So if this could play out, that'd be great. On Apex, you need a buffer. Yeah. So on Apex, game plan is different. Apex has really cheap accounts, and you can get 20 of them. So that's a really good advantage that no other firm offers. You just need to know how to trade it. The trading days for Alpha is high about 7 days. I don't know who told you that, but that's not true. How was Apex payout? It took me almost a month to receive. I actually have not checked. I will check after this. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll check after stream. 200, 300K, yeah, that ain't going to be me. I don't ever see myself even getting that account. But 20, 50Ks, I would rock with that. How to trade Apex. Very simply. Pick a number. 50K account, pick a number. You got You're going to choose between these three options. 150, 100, 150, and 200. Choose your poison. That's how much you're going to risk. You're going to aim for 1 to 2, 1 or like 1 RR, 2, 2.5 R. That's it. Every single trade, you're going to TP. You want to make it simple? Risk 150 per trade, 2R every trade. You're going to do that. You're going to forget about the profit. You're going to do that until you make $2,500 on the account. So you're going to request 500. You're going to do it again and scale your way into victory. That's my plan, and I think that's the best way. That's on Khamzat DDP. I have one thing to say about that fight. You could have put any human being or animal in front of Khamzat in that octagon, and I truly believe he would have done the exact same thing. You could have put anyone, bro. Anyone. You could have put a gorilla, and I think he would have done the exact same thing. That's my opinion on that fight. Just the way he was moving, in that fight, he would have done that to anyone, bro. You could re-enter short here. Your fill might not be the best. No way, hold on. It one ticked our TP and then one ticked our stop loss? Not 1 point. 1 tick. Wow, it feels good to be on the other side. I mean, we obviously parceled here anyways. No, it did not sweep the daily candle. It left it by 1 tick. I'd say it did its due diligence. It's done its business. Like, I don't think it needs to. When I go holiday, do I miss trading? I miss trading so much on holiday that I keep trading, bro. Did that answer your question? What exactly is org? If you really want to learn about it, I would watch my video on it. It's like 15 minutes and it pretty much explains everything. Won't I add on? Not in these conditions. Any other day? Yes. Any other day, this is already going lower to past Friday's low. So, yeah. This is why I partial manually. Alpha feature 0, then probably better than. Yep, I would do the 0. It's really cheap. Like, it maybe doesn't seem cheap because the eval's like there's no activation fee. So like, you could fail like, say you got 3 0 accounts and you failed 2 and then passed 1. That would be the same price as getting like 1 standard and passing it on the first try. So, do you still use TradeScale? Yeah, I haven't really, like, yeah, to some degree, but not that much, I'll be honest. I don't, it's not my daily journal. Can you tell us when the 100 stream is and what happens after that? Well, the 100 stream, the goal with the 100 stream countdown is after 100, I'm going to start streaming in Discord instead. That way, main reasons why: 1, all the trolls are gone; 2, I can read chat. and answer questions that are common. The only reason I'm talking to you guys right now and reading chat is because this trade is done. Right? This trade's done. I'm not going to move my stop anymore. I'm not going to move my runner. That's it. But I wasn't reading chat before, you know? So I'm sure a lot of you guys were asking questions. Why did you enter short? You know, why did you partial there? What's org? Why here? Why did you close? I didn't even see those questions because my chat was closed, you know? So that's the main reason. Obviously, I'd make side money. I'd probably charge $25 a month. And I think that's like pretty insanely cheap. So, you know, obviously it's going to bring me a little extra money on the side. And yeah, and just build a good community. So, pretty good reasons. That's the game plan, brother, with the 100 stream countdown. Please explain Alpha Trader when you are done trading. Alpha Futures, not Alpha Trader. I don't know anything about Alpha Trader. But Alpha Futures, guy said Jackson is watching me. Alpha Futures, it's a prop firm, bro. So basically, you buy an account with them. If you pass the challenge, you can then, you know, start making money on the trade that you win. I stream every day, yeah. I've been streaming every day for a really long time now. Not that long, but it's been like a year and a half or something. Hey, what's mini and micros? It just depends. The difference between a mini and a micro is how much risk per point there is. On a NASDAQ mini contract, you're risking $20 per point. On a micro contract, it's $2 per point. I have one major problem with conviction. Do you have any advice? Well, do you know your model really well? That's the first step in conviction. You got to know your system. I know where the market is going, but I can never really commit. Because, well, knowing where the market is going is one point. But do you have a model that you really can trust its longevity in to deliver what you think is going to happen? You know, it doesn't. You don't need. I mean, obviously, you need conviction in your idea, but your model should give you the conviction in the idea. For example, I was bearish and I shorted this inversion, classic model. That gave me the conviction to short. You know. But I feel like a lot of it for you, bro, and for most people, it's probably just risk acceptance. You know, you probably just didn't. Maybe you think you accepted the risk, saying like, yeah, I can lose 100 or 200, but like not really accepted the risk. You know, like you have to accept the risk. Like I took this trade knowing that there was a chance that it was gonna come up and stop me, but I was willing to let myself find out. You know. So, I guess my advice to you is figure out what it really is. And then once you know the root cause, you can go about, solving it. Because I would probably bet it's risk acceptance. Most traders do not accept the risk. They take a trade, they put a stop, but if price hits that stop, they're like, what? What? How? Or they go break even, they get stop break even, and they're like, what? As if they did not expect to. Like, you put it there for a reason. You have to expect that it's actually going to hit that level. Some people are like some people, for example, it starts going in their favor. They put it break even, and in their mind, they're like, yeah, no way it comes here. No, do never think that. There's a chance that it's going to come up and stop you, break even. And there's a chance that it's going to stop you, break even, and then go back in your favor. You have to make that, you can't make the decision based on emotion. It has to be on logic, What do you think about fibers? I've never used them, but I know people who have and found success. So, yeah. Daddy, what time do you use for org? It's the same time every day. 9:30 opening price, and then the previous day 16:14 closing price. If you want to learn about how I use opening range gap, I have a full video on it. It's something I use every day. You don't have to use it. You may never have to use it. Maybe you don't want to, and that's totally fine. I don't think anyone here needs it. But if you want to use it because you want to trade how I trade or use it as a confluence, you can watch my video on YouTube. It's about 12 minutes. Very simple, it explains everything. Difference between zero plan and standard on alpha just seems zero seems better. I'll tell you the main differences. One, the zero plan is a lot cheaper. Two, the zero plan you can request every week minimum, while the standard plan is 2 weeks. The main difference, the two main reasons why the standard is better still, is because the amount that you can actually request. On the standard account, you can request any amount of profits you make. If you make 1,000, you can request 1,000. That's number one. Number two, the max payout is 15,000 on the standard. Now, if you're starting out, even me, I'm probably never gonna go for a max payout 15,000. To me, that's just, I could not imagine myself being up even 5,000 and not requesting money. To me, unless I'm doing it as a challenge or I'm doing it for content. But if I'm being honest, I spent $100 on this account or $200 on this account. I'm up 5,000. Who am I to not take a payout? Like, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's levels to this game. I mean, there definitely is. But that's just greed. That's just greedy. Because you can always get another account and do the exact same thing. So you should pay yourself when you get the chance. Markets are cruel. And it may be, maybe some people think that there's levels to this game. But you can't tell me that there are people who tried to go for a max payout and they fell short because of the last couple of days. It happens. And I'm not trying to be that guy. It's happened to me. And they were finally out of the trade in the final contract. All right. Let's talk about what can probably happen next. For starters, it's probably going to stay pretty range bound. What I mean by that is it may take this high. It may not. To be honest, I think it won't. I think it'll get close, but like it might just stop. And the reason I say that is because it's the Edge Master, right? This week is the TP Edge Master. But obviously, in hindsight study now, we swept the sell stops like we said, right? We marked out the 830 equal lows. And if anything, we can just, let's call it the pre-market sell side here, incomplete. So we've taken out the pre-market sell side. That's like the lows below 8 a.m. This is what that liquidity pool is. If we've taken out the pre-market sell side liquidity, that's this is New York pre-market, and we shifted. How do I know we shifted? Well, there's a full breaker in here. We've got the full order block in here, the change of the state of delivery, whatever you want to call it, and we saw that expansion. Right, we put in a bullish fair value gap. You can see how sloppy it got in here. But it's a bullish fair value gap. So likelihood we shifted intraday. If we shifted intraday, that means we're probably not going to continue lower, or it's just going to stay range bound. And what I mean by that is it's literally just going to mess with your brain. I kind of favor that narrative, to be honest. Partially because I'm not willing to accept the fact that it didn't take Friday's low, which means it's probably just going to be super choppy. But, I mean, your AM buy side is here. Your current AM high, or let's call it opening range high. It's a strong draw, whether it gets there or not. In fact, you could argue even taking a protraction model to that level. Though I don't see a clean one. There was one right here at 10.16. But I mean, we took a good trade. Look at London High. Look at London High. I don't even look at London High. I know what London High is. And yeah, it could go there. This is your first presentation. This is what I would use at least. Cut a little short to London lows. It wasn't London lows. but it was sell side pre-market. So yeah, nice. There's your opening range gap high. So remember what we said. If we were bearish, we shouldn't have come back up here. So yeah, in my opinion, we've probably shifted now. So where would I look? I would probably look London highs, midnight open, and Asia highs. Whether it gets there or not, I don't know. It might be really choppy, but the point stays the same. At this point in time, based on what we've seen, there's a higher probability chance the market goes higher than lower. Not from this exact moment, but in general. We're more likely to make higher highs on the session than lower lows. So with that being, given the fact that we've taken this high now. Now, obviously, I wouldn't buy this high, but hypothetically speaking, say we got a retracement. Is there a 5-minute? The 5 minutes forming, 3 minutes there almost. So hypothetically, say we got something like this. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to look like this probably, but you could look for it. First president, I wouldn't use this one. You can use it. I wouldn't use it. Is it harder to pass futures? It depends what firm. I wouldn't use this one. You don't have to spam my chat. Gaddy, do you care about London Asia high lows or bias? Those are objectives for me once I've established my bias. Poor psychology, day for took the first inversion short, moved to break even, then re-entered and lost. Made me think back to your recent fear video. That does cover the fear video, huh? It does cover the fear video. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. This is low-key a hot take, because I know a lot of traders do this. But is it just me, or is moving your stop loss to break even just because it's like moved a certain amount? I feel like that's a bad habit, bro. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like that's a bad habit, because I think it just instills fear. I'm not saying don't reduce your stop. 100% you should reduce your stop every trade if you can. But I'm talking about moving your stop to break even just because it's moved in your favor. Like, that's not a good reason, in my opinion. But then again, like, it's hard to say because you probably avoid a lot of losses. But the thing is, I'll tell you why I think it's bad. It's not because the reason people do it. This is let me explain myself real quick. The reason a lot of people do it, the reason a lot of traders do that, is not because in the mindset they're trying to reduce risk. They do it in the mindset of not wanting to lose. And that's the issue. They just don't want to lose. Even though maybe, sure, it makes sense to go break even, that's not why they're doing it though. They're doing it because they don't want to lose money on the trade, which means they haven't accepted the risk. They fear losing. They don't want to see their stock get hit. So I don't think it's a bad thing, Noah, but just make sure you do it because it actually makes sense. Make sure that you're 100% certain. You're not doing it strictly out of fear. If you're doing it out of fear, you're just making that fear stronger and stronger every single time. You can call it double purge. You can call it seek and destroy. You can call it high resistance. Do you take one trade a day? Or I don't mind trading again. I'm actually looking for a protraction model long right now. I would recommend Alpha as a first prop firm for futures. You just put a break even when it makes sense. Yeah, that's what matters. Reducing risk. No one should tell anyone that. I'm not trying to tell anyone that reducing risk is not good. But you have to reduce the risk for the right reasons. Don't just do it out of fear. Why would you look for long? The move is done. Because if we're taking out this high, in my opinion, it's more likely to reach for London high, midnight, and Asia than it is to come back all the way down to take Friday's low. Then again, we may just stay seek and destroy. So, I mean, if we make another run at the sell side, it's just confirmed full seek and destroy session. If we get a protraction model long here, it could potentially be expansion. The edge was mad. Yeah, if you had a limit order here, oh man, I feel for you, bro. I'm really happy I clicked and I was focused enough to just take it. I mean, yeah, it's just dumping. Obviously, it's. I'm not saying I'm gonna long it. Like, just buy this. We've taken one trade short. We hit 80% TP. Last one stopped in slight profit. You had a limit order there. Oh, that's painful. That's why I don't use limit orders. That's a part of the reason. It's not even worth it, even if it's a 4 point. Like, who's this fake ass GatieTrades in the chat, bro? 2,500 followers. Damn, bro, you killing it, bro. Keep it up. Keep it up, bro. I'm from Europe. I can only use interactive brokers. Can I apply on any prop firm? Yeah, use prop. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't use interactive brokers if you're gonna start trading. Use Alpha Futures, bro. You can look at that prop firm. You'll probably like them. What are early signs that a session is gonna be a seek and destroy? Brother, the first sign was given to us years ago. The economic calendar. In general, if we reverse, like at this point, as soon as we take this high, there's two scenarios. It's seek and destroy, or it's one side of expansion. What are like the signatures? The signatures are running liquidity. Like the order flow is unclear. I'll explain to you right now in the simplest way. How do you know if it's seek and destroy? Pretty simple, huh? As simple as that, bro. You just gotta kind of look at it. You'll see it. You'll know. Trust me. You'll know when it's seek and destroy. Anyway, yeah. If we're repeatedly running buy side and sell side, it means the market's not actually going anywhere. It's just high frequency trading algorithms running stops on both sides. And I don't know if they're scalp algorithms or I don't know the science or what people are doing, but that's the idea. Appreciate you, Bernie. And Alpha takes works in Europe. Yep, it works in Europe. Please explain the difference between zero and standard account types. I'm going to explain to you the three main differences. The zero account's a lot cheaper, but you can make less money. But the return on your investment is still actually better. So if you're a new trader, I would recommend getting the zero account because it's only like $70, no activation fee. Yes, on the standard account, you can make way more money. The max payout's more, but it's more expensive. And if it's your first couple payouts, just get some money in the bank, you know? GatieTrades, listen, you be spamming shit. You don't gotta spam, bro. I saw you say long. I'm not obviously not gonna take your signal. That would be really stupid of me. Even if it's gonna play out, it does not matter. I'm not here to signal my chat. So it's just not happening. What we can do is wait for this potential inversion. No, you're good, bro. You're good. Just want to let you know. I see your message, bro. Everyone sees it. If you want to give a signal to chat, you can go ahead. How many people in the giveaway? I think there's 65 people right now. But I do have some Discord messages, and I do have to add those people. We're going to give away 3 things now, though. Once the number got past 50, I was like, we should probably give away some more things. What prop firm does you know that accepts traders from Africa? Which part of Africa? Which country are you in? Friday's low was actually never taken. Now let me... Yeah, it was not taken. Friday's low was never actually taken, but it was close. No, I don't think GatieTrades is rage baiting, but a lot of them are. East Africa? I'm gonna need a country because it's different. It's specific countries. I know a lot of them are the same, but they do have separate rules. So if you want me to tell you exactly. Now what you could do is use a Forex prop firm. That's for sure. Ethiopia? Alright, let me check the country ban list. Uh, Okay. Ethiopia is restricted. Let me check. Top Step's probably the same. Let me check Apex. Apex usually allows a lot of countries. You could try Blue Nox? Blue Nox? Or Blue Guardian? Oh, I forget. If you're looking at Apex, list of countries not allowed. Oh, I think Ethiopia is allowed. You could go ahead with Apex. They do have cheap evaluation, so that may be more suitable for you. But the activation fee, they do have an activation fee though. I think, yeah, Apex works in Ethiopia, so you could try Apex. Let me just, yeah, no, yeah. Apex trader funding. What do I think about today's market condition? All anticipated. Move me as mine, I keep clicking stuff. Wait, you want me to, I mean, yeah, I can move you, bro. It's up to you, bro. Top Step X, great platform, man. It's Project X. But yeah, today's market conditions are horrible. I mean, it's arguable. I mean, I definitely think it's arguable. Depends what we are trying to. In my personal opinion, I think that short was very clear. That long was very clear. You just have to know what to expect and what to anticipate. If you didn't have the experience, if you didn't come into the session expecting high resistance, then like you wouldn't have seen these setups, you know. Which platforms use Tradebait? Alpha does. I got you, Raj. I just Googled like Apex Trader allowed countries. What do you mean by high resistance? I'm going to show you very, very quickly. So easy. Just look at my chart for a quick second. See that? See all this? Why do they ban country? I don't think it's them. I think it's like tax purposes or payout purposes. It's not them choosing to ban the country, I don't think. I think it's some sort of regulation with the country itself. That I can do. I mean, I don't know how to do it on TikTok. Nah, but I can figure it out. On YouTube, it's easy. Just click their name. High resistance is a lot of deep retracements, a lot of wicking, a lot of things that shouldn't be happening if the market's clear. For example, I entered off an inversion and then it reinversed. But I still said it's fine. Like it's sloppy, but it's fine. Because it shouldn't take this high. Even though it's high resistance, it shouldn't take the high here. Should I open a long position? I mean, I wouldn't personally, but it's up to you. Make sense? Got you, brother. 15 minutes disgusting? Yeah, that's surprised we even caught something, to be honest. I'm just grateful we caught. Forget winning. I'm grateful I didn't lose today. Like, you know, you gotta take these little things. I'm grateful I didn't even lose, let alone I won. I'm not about to be greedy. Stay humble. Last August, exact same time of the year, exact same price action, I blew all my funded accounts. All of them. Every single one. All gone. Same price action, same type of year, same time of year, same price action. Choppy, seek and destroy, high resistance the entire weeks of August. I got cooked. Now, I didn't blow my accounts because the price action. I blew my accounts because I lost like 6 in a row and I just went on tilt. And I tried making it all back. I just went on tilt. Gatie, can I pass an account without KYC, build an amount, and then do the KYC? Good question. No, I think you need to verify to activate. No, I was fine with the risk management. What blew my accounts back then is the fact that I tilted after. I still had the accounts after the 6 losses. Realistically, the 6 losses were not that bad. But what happened was I took like 4 or 5 losses in a row, and then I upped my risk. Not by a lot, but I upped my risk because I wanted to make it back quicker. And then I lost those trades, and then I went on tilt and just blew the accounts, all of them. Entry model, POI, TOI, entry model purge. Listen, I'm gonna be honest, GatieTrades. I'm gonna be so honest with you. If you were really a good trader, not a good trader, but if you really understood trading psychology and what it takes to be successful, you would know that what you just said is absolutely useless. It's not gonna do anything for anyone. I'm not hurt. I thought you were Hercules, bro. This is a protraction model right now. Yes, this is a protraction model short if you are bearish. This OB, you could short inside this order block if you wanted to. But I'm going to keep it a buck. Entering inside the range. Listen, you guys want real sauce? Let me give you guys the real sauce. I'll give you the real sauce, GatieTrades. Entering inside the range in seek and destroy conditions is low probability. I'm going to say that one more time. Entering inside the range in seek and destroy is low probability. You always want to look out going in, because the only narrative in play that's high probability is we're range bound. And what that means is, let's say hypothetically, we have these imaginary lines, and it's saying the market is stuck between these 2 lines. So why would you trade from the middle to out when you can take a way higher probability setup from out to in? Because you know that once it pushes up here, it's more likely to go down than up. Over here, we don't actually know. It could go higher, it could go lower. Technically, it's more likely to go lower, yes, because we formed the order block and the order flow is currently bearish. So yes, you do have an edge in shorting right now. There's probably an edge there still. But it's not as strong of an edge as longing after sell side or buy side is being taken. I mean, you can see the example, right? It looks sloppy, but it's there. External, target in. So, although there still probably is an edge here. I mean, my model says there's an edge here. You can still short the LB. Probably find something. But it's a probability thing. The higher probability trade is waiting. But this is a protraction model. So, I know that's why I'm done. No, I wasn't talking to you, GatieTrades. I mean, I was, but like talking to everyone. Just sharing my personal insights. Whether you want to trust me or not, it's completely up to you. It doesn't matter. But let me read this. Entry model, POI and TOI. No idea what that is. TOI was that time something. Point of interest, time of interest, probably. Entry model, purge, POI at TOI. You only trade macros with an SMT, no SMT, no trade. Breakers, UCI, MSS displacement causing I'm gonna be honest, bro. That model looks like a lot of. I don't really see the criteria. Ice during trades reference. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see the model in that everything you said, bro. No, you're good, GatieTrades. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. How can I recognize a seek and destroy day? The easiest thing you can do is just zoom out. For example, if I told you, look at the 15-minute chart, you would know. It might have taken you some time, but I mean, I didn't know for sure it was going to be seek and destroy. I took a short and I covered. So I'm taking the precautions anyways, if that makes sense. You know? How do I do it? I don't try to figure out in the actual day. You have to discuss before. You have to identify it before. Today, when I was giving you guys my outlook for the day, I said it's likely to be, I don't know if I said seek and destroy, but I said high resistance. So if I already think that it's more likely to be high resistance, I have to take the precautions anyways. So, for example, in my outlook, This is my personal outlook. This is from yesterday. Monday and Tuesday, it's safety protocol for me in the morning session. Okay? I'm going to be implementing what I see in my eyes to protect me from the potential market condition, whatever my safety protocol is. If that's cut my risk, if that's partial early, if it's, look for the lowest hanging fruit, look for less R, etc., etc. Stuff like that, that's safety protocol. So whether today is seek and destroy or not, doesn't matter, because I'm going to be trading under the premise that it might be. Does that make sense? That's how I do it. And to me, that's a really big part of my trading that I think is overlooked. I have to decide beforehand if I think it's going to be low resistance or high resistance. And then I don't try to figure it out as I'm trading, because by then it's too late. If you didn't go into the session thinking it's going to be seek and destroy, you would have held too much profit here. You would have held too much profit here, and you would have lost or break even. No S&T, no trade is rage bait. I mean, I think that's just, is that just a criteria for you? Because I don't think you can say that for everyone. But I mean, listen, if you really wanted to, you could probably find like some sort of SMT between the three indices on some sort of time frame interval every time. Do you have a journaling template on Notion? Yes, I do. Do you sell mentorship? Not really, no. I'm gonna get another payout before buying an eval. I blow 4 eval. That's what I would recommend too. That's how I do it. There's Friday low. Finally. Very well done. Gatie, notice why your trade plays out. It didn't play out because of the SMT, brother. It played out because drawn liquidity was Friday's low. And that's it. I was on the right side at the right time. That is all. No 1 year SMT, no trade. GatieTrades, you can't say, listen, I'm not saying this about you, but a lot of traders do this, and I hate it. I hate it. They always, like, for example, what you're saying right now, oh, the SMT is time. That's why it played out. You're neglecting all of the other SMTs and trades that formed that failed. You're only saying, oh, look, it played out because there's SMT there. But you're not saying, oh, look, this failed, but there was still SMT here. So your argument, no offense, does not make sense. Sure, SMT is a great confluence. I don't disagree. For me, if you want to make it a criteria for your trade, that's totally fine. I don't think that's a bad idea personally. I think it's completely preference. But you can't say, oh, that trade played out because SMT. Because the same trades will play out without an SMT. That's number one. And number two, the same trades will fail even though there's an SMT. The Discord's free. Just click the link in my bio, click open in browser. At the end of the day, the trade played out because you entered at the same time the market was selling. That's it. So you had the right time and the right price level. And that's it. Whether there's an SMT or not, SMT is a confirmation tool. I promise you, people didn't start selling because there was an SMT. Okay, but look at what happened along that time. See, but I don't want to argue with you because I don't think you're gonna see the other side, bro. But you're not taking into account all the setups that play out without an SMT, and you're not taking into account all the setups that fail without the SMT. You're only looking at the ones that play out with SMT to make your arguments. And there's also just no way that you can say it was the SMT. There's no such thing as like, this is why this trade worked out. There's too many factors in the marketplace. I could say the same thing. There's an hourly fair value gap here. That's why it played out. It has nothing to do with the SMT. As long as you shorted the hourly fair value gap, that's why. Or if I said, oh, it's because we closed below opening range gap high. Look, we closed below opening range gap high here, opening range gap high here. That's why it played out. There's a million factors going on every single trade. There's no way you're going to pinpoint exactly what moved the market. The only thing that moved the market is the fact that at that time, there was probably algorithmic selling or buying. That's it. That's what happened. You were on the right side at the right time. SMT is a great confirmation tool. But yeah, that's it. Fellow watched one video about SMT and made his whole strategy. Listen, no, I'm not trying to hate on his strategy. I'm just saying, don't say the trade played out because of SMT, especially if you don't have the data. Market is moved by time. The market is not moved by time. The algorithms run on time, but it's not moved by time. The market is moved by orders. It's not a theory. It's proven. You can look at the CME data. It's orders. More market sells than limit buys pushes price down. What makes those orders come in? Algorithms, most likely, according to CME. 80% of futures trading is algorithmic. If S&P doesn't hold, you won't see it after. That's why people don't think. I know that's exactly what it is. When the S&P doesn't hold, you don't even see it on the chart. So you look at all the examples where the market moved and there's an S&P, which you ignore all the examples where the S&P was there, it failed, and then the S&P was put in and then it moved. That's why it's only a confirmation tool. Certain times call certain. Exactly. I'm sure the algorithms are like, at this time, sell this much and continue selling until this long. You know, like some sort of code like that, I guess. Yeah, you could long right now, Philly. You could. 1050 macro. Sell side's taken. Yeah, but markets or algo or move to. Yeah, you're right. I would agree with that. I don't disagree with that. The algos definitely have a time component. It would be pretty much impossible to run the algorithms without a time component. It's a cycle. I personally don't think it's I'm sure some algorithms run on a cycle, but I don't think it's a cycle. But everyone to each their own. No, we took one short today. We hit TP. You could long now. The same range bias idea. There's always orders, ABC. There's always orders. I mean, depending on what market, but trading futures is always going to be orders, pending right above. That's what market makers do, by the way. They provide the orders when there's not enough or when there's not enough bid or ask. They provide the liquidity. That's what market makers do. But the market moves because of orders, not because of periods or time. Yeah. I think GatieTrades agrees that. Yeah, you can long. I don't know what you would target. Target something in premium. Maybe this high right here. Awesome sauce for a break-even trader. For starters, if you're break-even, you're doing really good. So hopefully you're not beating yourself up because of it. My advice to you is you need to go back into your journal. And if you don't have a journal of all your losses and all your wins and the trades you took and what you thought was going to happen versus what actually happened, you're going to have to start because that's the only way you can improve. The easiest thing you can do is find the repeatable mistakes. That's the easiest thing. That's the easiest thing you can do. As long as you found if you can find repeatable mistakes, everyone has repeatable mistakes in their trading. Those are the easy ones. Those are like, just take it out and you're good, That's the easiest thing. Then you get the more complex things. You study your risk to reward, study your entries, study your take profits. Your average monthly profit. I mean, it's only been going up, so it's hard to say. Can you look up GatieTrades? Time must align so orders will be placed. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, most of the time. Most of the time. I don't think every time, but most of the time, I would agree. I can look up GatieTrades. I don't know what that is. GatieTrades on YouTube or TikTok, Twitter. Twitter's probably best. I've been trading for 2 years. GXT Garrett. Learn the GXT model. 4-hour profiling. If London consolidation, then New York. I mean, that seems right. Just classic daily power of three stuff. Profiling the daily candle through a 4-hour swing. Yeah. Wait for 10 a.m. By then, pre-market tasks are done. Sessions are open. And the highly low often set. Yeah. I don't know who Desi is. Do I think he's legit? I mean, he seems to have a pretty consistent model. I don't know if he's. Seems like he uses market structure to find high probability trade setups. And I say that because he's talking about swings. Can I short that 1 minute FEG? I wouldn't. I would just align with the order flow current. That's just me. Yeah, I always post a recap of my trades every single day on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I exited early, and then as soon as I open TikTok, I see Gaddy's video about fear. I'd watch the full video, bro. Hey, what's up, Big Mike? More liquidity, see. Yeah. Just took a trade on ES with that model. Nice. Garrett is the best trader I know of. Really? I never. That's good. Does he stream? Does he where does he post most? Took an entry off the sweep that just happened to London highs? We didn't take London highs. Are you talking about this high right here? London highs is all the way at 855. Um can I ask what you got? By the way, I'm not saying he's not. He might be the best trader ever. But how do you know he's a good trader? Like where did you like find out about him? Like does he post YouTube videos? Take care, Johnny. Appreciate you coming to say hi, bro. Or is it just his like TikTok posts? I lost 55, then it ripped down. It happens, bro. Oh, I guess he posts trade recaps. Oh, did he do live backtesting? His educational content and the lens logic is just unmatched. That's good. That's good. I like that he did the live back. I think that's live backtesting. I think anyone who can do it live is good. But I'm a little bit skeptical of people who don't trade live or yeah, that's pretty much it. Trade live. Or at least record the live trading and then post it if you don't want to live stream it. And the reason I say that is it's really easy to just teach as opposed to actually execute. I'm not saying they can't execute off their stuff. I'm just saying anyone can teach. Well, not anyone, but what are you trading? To be honest, we're probably done for the day. I already took TP. I don't see myself finding another good setup. Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't trade, by the way. He's probably better than me. I'm not here to compare anything. I'm just saying I'm personally skeptical of people who don't trade live. I have heard of Zusi, yeah. I've only watched a couple of his videos. Are you gonna trade PM? Yeah, I'll look for 1R. Do you know good traders who understand the market but can't explain it well? No, personally I don't. Where are you from originally? I'm Arab. I'm Iraqi. Oh. Cause like think about it like this. For example, Who's Brez? Yo, Brez Hub, are you still here? If Zeus is your mentor, just cut off the middleman and watch some ICT. Because think about it like this. For example, if you can learn from, yeah, I like Shermaine because he executes. You're here, yo. So this is my question to you, Brez. If you've watched all of GXT's stuff, can you go now and teach and pretty much do exactly what he does, or you couldn't? Like you like in terms of like for example, I'll give you an example. I'm not trying to boost myself, but let me give you an example. I posted all my models and stuff on YouTube. So if someone wanted to go and try to become me, they wouldn't be able to because I live stream every single day and I trade my model live. So no one would be able to replicate what I do because no one's gonna trade my model as good as, well, they can maybe trade it better than me, but they're not gonna trade it the same way I trade it. They wouldn't be able to replicate. But you can learn something. For example, if I wanted to, I could just teach everything that ICT taught because I watched all the content and I could just teach. And I didn't even have to, like, for example, live stream. I could just say this and that. It's not about any model, it's logic framework that works. The logic is line every other model. Yeah, I agree with that. Not really teaching a model, but just teaching how to know where price is going to go, or just understanding what price is doing and why, or probabilities. In my country, people doing this and saying they are pros. I mean, every country, bro. Gary, this is a weird feeling, but could you explain why I mess up backtesting more than live? I mean, I do better in live trading as well. The simple answer is one, you're not rushed in back. You're not rushed in live markets. The candles are printing second by second, so you're less likely to overlook something. In backtest, you're obviously moving a little bit faster. Do you think it can go up to London highs? I genuinely think it's 50-50. It could go to London highs. It could run to previous week's low. Where's previous week's low? It could go to London highs. It could go to previous week's low. 23587. I genuinely think it's 50-50. It could also stay sideways for like 50 minutes till lunch. Entry models are just pattern. You need to have it. Yep, I would agree. Well, I don't think you need to, but depending what kind of trades you have. What do you think of the 5-minute BPR in the macro? Over here? So that's, oh, this one. Um, Solid, yeah. I mean, solid. If you were bullish, like I said, at this point in time, it's more likely to go up than down. And we already talked about why. It's because the market is range bound. So like I said, when you're trading range bound markets, just literally pretend there's these blue lines holding the market inside of a range. You don't know where these blue lines, you don't know where they are. But you do know if we start going down and we see this sort of formation here, 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 it's more likely to go up than down. So like I said, when you're trading range bound markets, the higher probability trade is always from the outside in. Always from the outside in. Yes, you can go from the middle, but you don't know if it's going to roll over or take out the high. You don't know. It's 50-50. If anyone tells you otherwise, I'm sorry, but I mean, me personally, I disagree. I think it's 50-50. Maybe you could make the argument that right now, since it's currently bullish order flow on the 1 minute, it's more likely to go higher. Sure. You can make that argument. It's probably slightly more probability, meaning if you took this situation a million times, it's probably more likely to go up. But it's not nearly as probable as just waiting for one side and then target in. That's way higher probably. That's like 60-40 at that point. So you have an edge there that's way stronger. His model has a lot of things to consider, so it's hard to align everything. I mean, to each their own. Try ham trades capital for what? Time must come. Yep, I agree, GatieTrades. I agree 100%, brother. No, I can't watch ICT ever too much. There was much more better gurus they can teach. I agree. I think there's people who can teach ICT better. That is true. I don't disagree with that if that's what you're saying. But there's most people teach it worse. So same time he lost one with him. Damn, I mean, That's really solid, Brez. That's really good numbers. Gatie knows ball, yeah. Is it good to trade lunch or PM? I would trade. I think lunch will be better than morning session, if that's what you want to ask. But it's tough, man. I'm gonna be honest. This week, prepare for the discomfort this week. You know, was $20 away from first payout, ended up losing 2%. What? Where did you? I want to try to guess. Did you go long here at like 10.28? Same short as me, but you left the limit order. Where can I learn your strategy? If you want to learn my strategy, it's all on YouTube. Why is price action range bound? It's hard to say exactly what, but I will tell you one thing. When you're trading Jackson Hole Symposium Week, when you're trading No News Mondays, and when you're trading August, the probabilities of a high resistance range bound market is a lot larger. It could be any of those things. It could be all of them. You're not going to be able to pinpoint exactly what it is, but what you can do is anticipate and prepare. If you make 1K a month, you will live like a king in Africa. Let me ask you one question. What does, let's say, 100 US dollars, how much is that in Africa where you live? We're trading NASDAQ futures. Any tips on spotting bad market conditions early? Like I said earlier, it's not something I ever tried to predict in live market time. It's something it's in my rules actually. I have to anticipate it before 9:30. So going into the day, today may have been a really good trading day, but I don't care. Going into the day, I already had in my mind, I'm trading with my safety protocols. Because I know that the probability of it being high resistance and range bound, it's higher than normal. So that being said, me knowing, I have to decide beforehand is what I'm trying to say. I don't try to say while I'm trading, okay, now I think it's going to look pretty range bound. No, that's too late at that point. I could have already been chopped up. So I'm trying to avoid making that decision, and I'm playing the probabilities with the information I have pre-market, which is simple. I'll tell you the information I have pre-market. Number 1, it's No News Monday. Number 2, it's August. Number 3, it's Jackson Hole Symposium Week. Number 4, London expanded lower. There's 4 things telling me it's more likely to be range bound and high resistance. So I don't care what signatures I see after 9:30. I am trading with safety protocol in mind, regardless. And it could have been the most A+ session today, but I'm still trading with my safety protocol. I have to decide before market open, because if I wait, it's too late. That's something I decided for myself after getting chopped up. So I have to predict it beforehand or anticipate it before. I don't want to wait. If you want signatures, I'm going to make it super simple. The 1-minute chart may not seem like it's choppy, but every time if you zoom out, it will look choppy. So all you have to do, if you're trying to discuss, like if you'll see it. You'll see prices stuck between 2 higher time frame PD rates. Let's say, for example, this hourly low and this hourly fair value gap. We can't seem to get the break below this low, and I'm not talking about shorting a break. I'm just saying we're obviously not displacing here, and we're also respecting this fair value gap. So we are literally stuck between these 2 levels, going back and forth. You'll see this signature. This is when order flow is not clear. There's no clear order flow right now. It's neutral. It's respecting premium and respecting discount. So there's really no telling on which way it can go. Yes, you can hold through news on alpha. Just make sure you don't enter 2 minutes before, and you don't enter or exit 2 minutes after. December has some good days, but as you approach the holidays, it gets worse and worse. A lot of people just stop trading. Needs to go, but yapping is necessary. If you want to learn, you can learn from Gatie much more better. Not to hate on Gatie, but I think that's just not true. Why? I'll tell you my experience as someone who's watched every single ICT lecture. I'll tell you the most common mistake I see from new ICT traders, and then I'll head out. I'm gonna go for a swim. In my opinion, the number one mistake that the new ICT traders make is they learn ICT's models, whether from someone else or from ICT, and that's it. They don't get the value of all the times ICT was there, reading price, telling you what's likely to happen, telling you what's more probable than what's less probable, telling you when to anticipate this condition versus that condition, telling you why and when you should probably reduce your stop or take all these little things that takes like years and years and years to master for yourself, and all the mistakes that ICT made. Like, looking back, every single mistake I've ever made, ICT has talked about it before. And he said I was going to make this mistake. And he knew, like, all along. If you go back and listen to his stuff, he told you every single mistake that you were going to make. Every single one. He told you how you were going to feel. He told you what you were going to do wrong. He would tell you what you're going to try to do to make up for it and fail. He told you when you're going to start having doubts. He predicted it all. Like, he knows the journey of a trader. And that's what makes him a really good mentor. But he's maybe not the best teacher. But then again, I mean, you ask yourself, would you rather spend 6 months studying ICT really hard? Or would you rather risk learning it from someone else who doesn't teach you the same lessons about trading, not entering and making money from trading? You might find yourself trading for 4 or 5 years before you learn those lessons, you know? So in my opinion, it's worth it just to buckle up for 6 months. I did it in 3 months. You can maybe do it in more or less, I don't know. In my opinion, it's worth the time. Because everyone's trying to rush. And that's not a good reason. That's not a good reason to not go through it. But then again, you can go through that with any mentor, to be honest. Like, any mentor can teach you those things. Well, any mentor with the experience, right? Do you know any mentor that has 30 years of trading experience? Because I don't. ICT is the only one that I can name. So it's up to you. You make your choice. Did you start with core content? I started with 2022. That was the first thing I ever watched. Unfortunately, I don't have 30 years of experience. I have 2 years of live market experience and around 5 years of backtest, but I have done 2010, 2018, 2019, 2018 and after. 2010, I just did one 2010 year just to see how it was. So I definitely do not have 10 years of experience. No, I have 2 years of live market and around 7 years of backtest to my name. And that's it. That's pretty nothing. ICT has 30 years. I'm pretty much a pawn. I really don't know. I know a lot, but I don't know that much. In 3 months, it's impossible even from a mathematical standpoint. You can watch all of ICT in 3 months. I watched 2022. I watched 2016. And at the time, 2024 was still being released. It wasn't completed. You're doing well? I mean, I'm doing well, yeah. Just got a long way to go. But he can go to Turkey, no problem. Who can go to Turkey? Pushing 50. Caddy has 40 years. So it's not even 20%. I mean, no, I didn't finish every single ICT video in 3 months. But I finished everything that, I finished the major mentorships. Like I said, 2022, 2016, 2023, 2024. Just because I don't trade the 2022 model. I used to. That's how I got my first 3 payouts. But I don't trade it anymore. And then I started watching the other content. So no, I didn't watch every single ICT video in 3 months. But what I'm trying to make is you can watch all the price action reviews, all the key mentorships. If you want to do it in 3 months, and you don't have to. I think it would probably take the average person 6. You will never lose if you learn from T-Trades. T-Trades is a good teacher, but like I said, he only teaches you the technicals. It doesn't teach you about the mistakes you're going to make, your trading psychology, how you need to improve, how you need to go about your journey. That stuff is not there. I mean, I don't know what he teaches in his mentorship, by the way. Maybe he does teach those stuff. I don't know. I'm not in it. But on YouTube, he only teaches the concepts. And he does explain them really well. But it's not enough. Why don't you trade 2022 model? The reason I stopped trading 2022 model is because there were too many moves I was predicting and not able to capitalize on. It simply did not form as much as I wanted it to. 2024, should I go for it after? Yes, I would recommend 2024 right after 2022. He makes millions trading. I think he can't be bothered to trade a demo for a competition. You agree that Planets is acting to a price? No. Are you full-time? I don't do anything else. And I do cover all my expenses. Are you a charter student? No. I wish I was, though. Join the lens? I don't need to join the lens. I don't want to or need to join any person's mentorship. Is TJR a good mentor? I mean, I think if you can't talk to your mentor, then I don't really see how they're really a mentor. Maybe they can put you on trading, but you got to be able to talk and ask questions and say, what am I doing wrong? Can you help me? What are the mistakes I'm making? Here's my journal. Why am I not seeing results? You know? That's what you need if you want a mentor. Everyone says that, oh, this person's my mentor. Just because this person posted their model or course does not make them a mentor. That's not what a mentor is. That's just someone who gave you the course, which you can't talk with ICT. You're right, I can't talk with ICT. But ICT posted so much and he did so many live streams that he was basically talking to me, you know? The things that ICT said, he was answering the questions that I had already about my journey and stuff. Then again, you're right, he isn't really a mentor. I wish I would have been able to ask him. It would have helped my journey so much if I could say, yo, ICT, I see that you went short here, but I don't understand why, because in this episode, you talked about, looking for this signature, for example. So can you explain to me? And I don't have that opportunity. I had to figure it out on my own. And that's the downside. If I saw ICT in public, would I walk up to him? I don't know what I would say to him. Maybe thank you. I would just say thank you. That's it. I would just, if I had the time, I would just slide him a note. I wouldn't approach him because I don't think he wants to be approached. I would just slide him a piece of paper and say, thank you for your time. TGR has the #1 bootcamp though, and he did live streams. Who says it's the #1 bootcamp? Just because it's the most viewed? Do you do one-on-one sessions? Not really, but if you have any questions, you can message me. I'll always reply to my DMs. XTT is the GOAT. I wouldn't say anyone's the GOAT. There is no GOAT in trading because trading is you versus you. It doesn't make sense. The competition is not traders versus traders. It's traders versus self. You are your own GOAT in trading. If you watch all your... You're talking about GOAT mentor? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who's the best mentor. Where did you learn ICT? On YouTube. His YouTube channel. That's it. If we watch all your videos, does it give us a good overview of the ICT concepts? Yes. It will give you a very good overview of the ICT concepts. But that's it. That's all it'll give you. Obviously, I have other videos now on psychology and stuff. Where do you backtest? TradeZella. Which channel? Your or someone else's? Brother, how would I learn ICT from my own channel? That doesn't make any sense. I watched it from ICT's YouTube channel. How much trade micro on personal? What do you mean how much trade micro? Have you joined a mentorship or course? No, I've never joined any mentorship or course ever. I had no money at the time when I was learning. Opinion on footprint and order flow. Order flow might help you visually see what's going on, but you don't really need it because it's in the candles. You know there's going to be like it's you can see it, right? For example, this candle closes above this range. So all the buy limits that were here, all the buy limits that were here at this point in time, they all got absorbed by this candle. So I don't need order flow to see the numbers because I can see it visually on the chart. All the buy limits, all the buy or the ask or bids, whatever, from this point of range at this point in time at 10:25, they all got absorbed at 10:28. So I can see the order flow, but it doesn't really tell me anything in the future. It's just telling me what happened. The whole point is to anticipate what's next, because you could say the same thing with this move higher, absorbed all the sell limits at these levels. So it doesn't really give me information unless you had a predisposed market. So I guess in hindsight you could probably visually see the change in state of delivery after seeing candles like this, but it's tough. Why I can't still get exactly 40% consistency? I'm at 40.8. You're probably really close. You have to make like $50 maybe, bro. I don't know what the number is. Maybe it's less, maybe a little bit more. Probably less. I've seen multiple mentors for me. I think he knows what he's doing. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, almost every single mentor started from learning some sort of version of ICT's teachings, and no other mentor has 30 years of concept. Then again, we don't even know if ICT is a good trader. So, to each their own. What is the minimum fee to use TradeZella? I think you can get it for around $25 a month if you get 10% off. Opinion on foot? Yeah, that's my opinion. Gatie, on day 2 of the GR bootcamp, I'm ready to trade my mortgage. But it's all preference, guys. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's you versus you. Whatever gives you the conviction. No one can tell you what's best or not best. There's no competition besides the competition with yourself. So, at the end of the day, don't listen to anyone else besides yourself. How much to trade in a micro account? I would risk 1% if that answers your question. I don't know if it does. My best day is 1350. Today I made 45 bucks now, and instead of 40, it went to 41. Your best day is 1350. Your best trading day is 1350. That's what you're telling me. So based on that information, if your best trading day, you made 1350, that means to reach consistency, you need a total profit of 3375. Got your ebooks from your Discord, but how do I get to your level? I mean, you're not just gonna jump there. The reason I'm as good as I am right now, which I'm not saying I'm good, I'm just saying the reason whatever skill level I'm at is because I've been trading for 2 years every day live. I've been journaling, and I've also been backtesting, and I have almost 7,000 backtests in my thing. I've also watched all of ICT's content, and that's a lot of journal review, which is basically what ICT's content is to me. It's just journal review, chart review, reviewing, over and over and over again. You scale up risk when you get X amount of positive balance. Not on my fundeds, but on my live account, I will be implementing compound, yes. Did you say 3375? Yes, 3375. If you gave me the correct number. If you want to make it safe, just say 3380. Like, I'm sure you'll be fine depending on the numbers you gave me. But if that was your best day, you gave me the correct numbers, 3380, you should be covered. The best platform to back, without a doubt, it's TradeZella. I have a full video on TradeZella on my YouTube channel if you want to learn how I use it. How much to trade MNQ on a live account. If you want to trade one contract with the cheapest broker, you can do it with $100. But you can't, yeah, one micro contract, $100. With the cheapest discount broker. Tradeovate, probably the cheapest one. Well, definitely about to gamble for that 0.08. Yeah, he might. I would. I'm gonna be honest. Not gamble, but probably for it. Can you connect TradeZella with Apex? Yes. Pretty much any single one. You can. Opinion on footprint and order flow. I already answered this question, but I'll repeat it for you. It's not needed but if it helps you visually, you can. For example, I don't need the footprint charts and the order flow to see that all the bid from here to here was absorbed with this candle. I don't need the footprint chart to see that. I can see it on the candles. Also, it doesn't really help you predict what's going to happen next. So to me, it's not really useful. Because seeing the orders doesn't matter unless you can see like a higher time. I don't know much about it, to be fair, but unless like using it on the lower time frame, I don't think it's going to help you. What's your opinion about OTE and top ticking? My opinion, nothing really. I don't really have any significant opinion. You're gonna lose a lot more. You're gonna lose a lot more, and if you're fine with that, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Me personally, I don't like losing. I would rather a higher win rate, so I just wouldn't go about it that way. I wouldn't try to pick the top or bottom of a price move. At least not often. Can you explain why you took that short? I will post a full trade walkthrough if you don't mind. If you just wait a bit for that, I will post a full trade walkthrough, everything from beginning to end. But I do have to end the live stream now. It's 11:30. I gotta go make my second breakfast, go for a swim. So I appreciate you guys coming through. I'll make a full trade walkthrough. I'll post it. We took one trade today. We were pretty much on the right side, I would say, in Friday's low. I will see you guys live tomorrow, exact same time. I'm with Apex. TradeZella is a backtesting and journal platform. Apex is a prop firm. They're two different things. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about the order flow stuff, so don't quote me. But in my opinion, from what I know right now, you can just use the candles and accomplish the same thing. But I may be wrong. I admit that I don't know much about that type of data. I will see you guys tomorrow.